Welcome back to PUBG Pull-Ups. I'm your host, Matrym, and this week we're going to be pulling up on the Guadalajara gas cans and some of their amazing plays from Week 2 of the PCS3 Grand Finals. We'll be breaking down the match-ending standoff between the Guadalajara gas can, any trolls in chat, and Sonics. So we are now in a firm position to look at this crosswise, where it is a 1v1v1. Aguila creeping forward, Honey Badger doing the same, but it's going to be Mime on his belly, slow creeping forward on this little bit of a hill. As the blue is closing back behind Aguila, he's going to have to be the first one to move out of this point. Maybe moving into Mime's firing line, but no, he gets spots out, getting this down to a 1v1. Honey Badger spots it out, goes for the shots back over towards him, connects with a lot, and that's going to be gas cans with a hefty 18 kills. There is a lot to talk about before we move into the gas can's 18 kill victory, where Honey Badger clutches up a 1v1v1. To understand how he got to this position and how the fights broke down the way that they did, we have to take a little bit of a step back. One of the first things that we have to really focus in on is Sonic's positioning. Sonics made a very aggressive shift back down towards the compound and take control over it, but this is at the beginning of Circle 3. They had the benefit of getting multiple circles in a row. The issue is nobody advanced into their position. The issue then comes into play as we're looking at these later circles. There's not a lot of cover to be had inside of them. You can see the gas cans realizes the situation and makes an aggressive push back over towards where the Rumblers are at, getting a foothold by taking out this team. While ATC has been doing a lot of long-range harassment, once they begin to make their way towards the final circles, they realize that they're kind of pincer between two different points. ATC knows that they're going to have to be very careful on how they progress from this point forward. Each team have their own handicaps as they look into the circle. Gas cans are in the circle, but just barely, and they know that they're probably going to have to move soon. You can notice at this stage, Sonics are no longer using what you would consider to be meta weapons. They've been in location so long, they just had to scavenge anything that they can off the ground. That means that Winnies and Tommy guns are now on the table for these in-game fights. Sonics and ATC combine their firing lines to instantly wipe out the comments, and ATC stretches out along the dip, moving more towards the center after hitting a great nade back over towards Fabled's Greg shot to remove Fabled from the equation as well. Gas cans, they take a little bit of a different approach. Honey Badger sends it to the shack on a bike, narrowly making it past on near on no life as Sonics harass him on his approach. The rest of gas cans staying back, trying to provide a little bit of support and firing lines. It's a very hard play to deal with due to the fact that as long as Honey Badger can keep his cool, he can be a constant harassment point for any of the teams around him while still having support from the players back behind him, taking long-range shots from a safe position. The new circle pops from this point. ATC has the easiest move towards safety. They're down inside that dip and just have to move a little bit further in to get towards a point. The entirety of Sonics now has to move. Back behind them, gas cans also no longer have safety to play from. Only Honey Badger, playing next to that shack, is going to be inside the safe zone. Sonics reposition to look back over towards the gas can, getting a shots back over towards Boxic and Nikos. ATC assists inside of this from the low ground position. Now Honey Badger is all by himself and he knows the fact that he has to play from a very controlled point. Sonics begin to make a smoke wall. They do know that ATC is in the dip just on the other side of this, so they begin to stretch out very carefully as they make their approach onto this. Sharpshot gets some shots back over towards H-Win to take him down. Tickleton, then in the thick of the smoke, starts to have to dance around Sharpshot, get some shots back over towards Marcelet. You can see Sharpshot very quickly move through the smoke to make an aggressive play back towards the remaining member of the Sonics. But then it turns into sheer chaos for both sides as everybody seems to have a firing line back over towards each other, leaving just Sonic's Mime and ATC's Aguila up. And now we are in that 1v1v1 we were talking about before. With limited resources, Mime had to come into this fight with just a Tommy gun, but a Tommy gun at close range can do a ton of work. He keeps glancing back over towards ATC Aguila's position. Aguila, meanwhile, keeps counter-moving away from Mime over towards Honey Badger, who's hoping to look back over and take a couple of shots towards Mime. We've ended up with a very peculiar loop of death, with each one of these players just kind of running around, creating almost its own form of love triangle. Honey Badger to Mime, Mime to Aguila, Aguila to Honey Badger. Aguila does manage to spot out Mime whenever he does a quick glance back over towards his right, takes him down, turning this into a 1v1. Shots, though, do reveal Aguila's position. Honey Badger steps up on the hillside, a couple of taps very quickly take him down and allow Honey Badger to take the victory for his team. We often see a directed line of defense coming out from teams, but gas cans using Honey Badger to be a very bold aggressor towards enemies around him has shown off time and time again to be successful. Gascans have broken a meta and established their own, and finding that success has been a massive reward for them, moving up to second place inside the leaderboard and trying to contest up against Sonics, who have been holding a very comfortable #1 spot. So now as we move into the last week of finals, we've got Gascans who are on fire, which seems like it would be unhealthy for a Gascan to be, chasing after the Sonics, who have been absolutely dominant. Question remains, who's going to end up on top? For more amazing displays of skill and casting, make sure you tune into the Grand Finals, which are going to be happening on Thursday and Friday of this week. Also, be sure to let us know down in the comments what your favorite play from week #2 was. I will see you on the next episode of PUBG Pull-Ups.